Hi everyone, it's Valerie with Vesta Consulting Group at Keller Williams in Atlanta. And today I'm going to be looking at three of my favorite things to look at in our market. And those are going to be inventory, or how many months supply of inventory we have, our days on market, and our average sales price. And you've heard me talk about these before in the past, and these are the three key metrics that I keep an eye on to see how our market is doing. And we're going to be sharing some graphs with you today that I think are super indicative of what our market has gone through in the past 15 months. And you'll really start to see an interesting pattern. So the first one that I'm going to share with you is our month's supply, and we call that inventory. And right now, you've heard me talk about this in the past, we either have a seller's market, a buyer's market, or a neutral market. And we lived in very much a seller's market last spring, and I think this chart will show you that that seller market actually continues. So if we're looking at last year, you can see that we had a very, very slow rise in the spring with our inventory. And as you can recall, last spring up until like May, we were in the throes of multiple offers left and right, a lot of people paying a lot more than the asking price for the home. So that is a really good indication of that. At about the end of the second quarter, we see our inventory supplies start to rise. We peak at 2.5 months of inventory, and that is right around the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter. Then it starts to go a little bit lower again. As we move into 2023, it actually comes to its lowest point. So right as January is coming to an end, February, it hits its lowest point, which is right at 2 months of inventory. And now we start to see it rise again. So one of the biggest takeaways from this is at its highest point last year, we were at 2.5 months. Y'all, that is still very much a seller's market. You've heard me say this in the past. When we start to move above 4 months and somewhere in between the 4 to 6 month range of inventory, that is when we start going into more of a buyer's market. So we are still well below 3 months of inventory, which is very, very strong seller's market. And one of the things that's interesting about this last quarter that we just experienced is that you start to see our seasonality come back when it comes to inventory. So that's an interesting one to watch. We're starting to see the inventory rise again, and that is indicative of it's spring. It is the start of the second quarter in Atlanta, and this is our Super Bowl in real estate, right? So this is our time when the majority of homes come on the market. So the next metric that we're looking at is our days on market. Our peak last year, which was towards the end of the year, was 30 days. So the median for days on market last year at its highest was 30 days. And I think when you look at the 2022 graph for days on market, that's super indicative of where the market was at, right? You put the house on the market and immediately had 10 showings and immediately had multiple offers. That tapers off about June, July. Days on market starts to increase. We go into third and fourth quarter, which is typically also a longer time of days on market as the holidays come to play in this. And we have that peak at 30 days. Now, you can see that at the beginning of the year, that starts to go down. And we are on a steady decline of days on market with the first quarter. And we are currently hovering at about 20 days, which again, for the median is still very, very low in a healthy market, regardless of buyer or seller market, a healthy market. Anything that is less than 30 days on the market, it's very healthy and a very active market. So now we'll be looking at the average sales price. And I think this graph is really interesting because it's so indicative of that traditional economic principle that when demand is high, price is high, right? So you can really see that last year we had a steady climb in price. And again, that's all that flurry of activity we had in the spring of last year. And it's a steady climb to about just under 480 sales price as the average. And that peaks right around the middle to the end of the second quarter last year. And then we have a slower descent into third and fourth quarters. And you can see that is exactly around the time that the interest rates went up, which I think is really interesting. So again, we see the descent of average sales price, and now with the first quarter of the year, we're starting to see that shoot straight up again. And so that has been a steady climb since January. And I think what you can deduct from this slide in particular is just the demand. The demand is back up in this spring market, and we're starting to see prices again, and we're hovering just above 443 as an average sales price in the Atlanta metro area. Do keep in mind, however, that this is all inclusive of the different properties that are available. So it is detached, standalone homes, and it is also condos and townhomes. And that's why we get to the average sales price being right at about, or right over 443 right now. I know that was a lot of information, and I just want to make sure that you are staying up to date with what's happening in our market. Oftentimes we hear what's happening on a national level, and that can be a very different story than what's actually happening in our market. So I hope these slides were informative, and I hope that you got some insight into what's going on in the market. I just want to give you a really quick recap. I think that the biggest takeaways are you can really see the impact that the interest rates had on the market last year. I mean, it is in black and white on all three graphs. You can see when the interest rates went up, the activity changed. And the second thing that I hope you take away from this is that our seasonality is back. This is 2023. The pandemic started 3 years ago. And I think for the first 2 years of the pandemic, we were all over the place with our market. We weren't seeing that traditional seasonal wave that we relied on. And we are starting to see glimpses of that again. And that's really great for being able to forecast our market as we move into the rest of the year. And lastly, I want to leave you with, we are off to an increased activity or an increased amount of activity in our market right now. And we're really off to a very healthy quarter one. As you can see by the three graphs we looked at, activity has gone up, price has gone up, days on market have gone down. That's the one that always goes down, and that's a good sign for our seller clients. So keep an eye out for what quarter two will bring. I can tell you it's already a strong one. As always, we are here to help and answer any questions you might have. Please don't hesitate to reach out. And don't forget, this Sunday is our big event. We are having our first annual Easter egg hunt in the heart of Reynoldstown for all of our neighbors and friends and clients. So come and join us for some spring fun from 2:30 to 4:30 on Sunday at Lang Carson Park. We'll put the address up for you. And this is a chance to win a big green egg for all of your barbecues that are coming in the spring and in the summer. So you've got 3 different ways that you can register to win a green egg. And the links are all here for you to register for the egg. And you don't have to be at our Easter egg hunt to win. However, we'd love to see you there. Happy April, everyone.